Grade 10?
Yes, miss.
Okay, let's start
Yes,
vocabulary.
miss.
I'll share with you the take the unit 5, page 68. You opened it, girls? 68?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Concentrate, girls. You can't hear. I didn't share to hear. Let me reshare.
Democracy, from Athens to America. Speech. As your student body president, it is my pleasure to address you during the celebration of the anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Lincoln spoke with unfeigned love for democracy.
Lincoln spoke with unfeigned love for democracy. So the part of speech of unfeigned is what? Unfeigned love. Part of speech of unfeigned is what?
Adjective.
Adjective. Adjective to love. So he modifies love. So how can I modify love? Love is either authentic or fake, right?
Yes.
So here he modifies Abraham Lincoln's love by fake or authentic?
Authentic.
Yeah. Genuine, original, not fake.
When he delivered his magnificent speech. Today, we not only honor that momentous event, but also acknowledge the history behind it that reaches back over 3,000 years. Lincoln's United States was a fledgling democracy, an experiment, really, or perhaps a stage in a long, plodding journey.
In a long, plodding journey. A long, plodding journey. So the part of speech of plodding is what, girls?
Adjective.
It's an adjective also. Modified journey. How can I modify journey? How can I modify journey? What can I say about journey? Journey is whether tiring or satisfying, interesting. But when he says a long, plodding journey, so it is very long and plodding.
Troubling.
What?
Troubling.
Yeah, troubling. Move heavily. Causes me to move heavily.
That our forebears had boldly embarked upon.
That our forebears had boldly embarked upon. Embarked upon. Our forebears, like ancestors and this, or grandparents, as we say. Okay. But in where is, that our forebears had boldly embarked. The part of speech of embarked is what?
Verb.
Verb. They had embarked. So girls, let's divide embarked to a word, the root word, and its suffix or prefix. So it will be divided into what?
And bark.
Yes. Okay, so remove the ed. Okay, barked. So what is barked? Huh? Barked is to board the ship, to ride the ship. So when he says that it was a long, plodding journey, but our forebears had boldly embarked upon, يعني they took the ship for this trip. Embarked is ride the ship.
But in 1863, the country was divided by the Civil War. So when Lincoln stated that ours was a government by the people, for the people, he expressed his indomitable belief in democracy.
He expressed his indomitable belief in democracy. What is the part of speech of indomitable?
Adjective.
Adjective. And when I modify belief, I have an immutable belief, indomitable belief. Indomitable belief. I believe something. A belief is something. Indomitable belief, huh?
A strong one.
Strong, yes, cannot be defeated.
What is democracy? It is a form of government in which political authority rests with the people and is conducted by and with their assent or agreement.
When they rest with the people and is conducted by and with their assent or agreement. So assent means what? Assent or agreement? Huh?
Assistance.
Assent or agreement. Agreement. To agree, approve, acceptance.
In a democracy, all citizens are entitled to equal opportunity and equality before the law. Furthermore, democracies are committed to the idea of majority rule. Although in practice democracy is not infallible, it is the most natural form of government we know.
It is not infallible. Practice democracy is not infallible. It is the most natural form of government we know. It is not infallible. It is the most natural form of government we know. So infallible means what? Although in practice democracy is not infallible, but this is what we know. Although it is infallible, but this is what we know. So infallible is something good and a good adjective or not?
A good one.
Although that it is that, but this is what we know, this is what we have to do. Infallible.
Not a good adjective.
Yes, not a strong one. Not untrustworthy. Okay? Okay? Here, girls, it is not infallible. So infallible means, because not is what opposite to infallible. Again, although that it is not infallible, but this is what we have to do. So not infallible is something we're not trusty. So infallible alone is what? Trustworthy. Okay?
Yes.
Now you get it?
Yes.
For as the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle asserted, man is by nature a political animal. The roots of our democracy go back to ancient Greek city-states. These entities were small, fortified, independent communities made up of a city and the surrounding countryside. Athens was the most populous, and the one where democracy first took hold. It was ruled by its citizens rather than by monarchs or aristocrats. But at a time when diffident and obedient populations ruled by
But at a time when diffident and obedient population. What is obedient? Girls, what is obedient?
Submissive.
Say an easy word, Layan, for your friends. What is obedient?
Like a person who listens.
Yes, a person who listens. who obeys. Okay? So, but at a time when diffident and obedient population. Diffident and obedient. Obedient are those who obey. Yani it is shown, the meaning is shown from the word itself. Obedient from obey. Obedient and diffident.
They're the same meaning.
Huh?
They have the same meaning also.
No, those diffident and those obedient ruled by tyrants. So when all of them are ruled, so not the same meaning, because when I say those who and those, so diffident, it's even from the word different, right? So diffident are those who do not grade 10. Diffident are those who do not obey.
Miss, how can we know that if they put and they're not the same meaning?
From understanding the sentence here, when diffident and obedient populations ruled by, so both of them are ruled by, so both of them are not the same, because it's not one group. If it's only one group, they will be obedient, submissive, listens to orders, that's it.
Yes, thank you.
Tyrants or kings were the norm. Democratic ideas did not take hold overnight. Rather, they emerged over time to the point we are at today in this country. But democratic ideas did take hold eventually, after their early start some 2,600 years ago, when the aristocrat Draco gave Athens a written code of laws. These laws were harsh but clear, and though they favored the nobility, they became a foundation. Democratic ideas built on these laws a generation later, thanks to the altruistic and generous reformer Solon.
Here, thanks to the altruistic and generous reformer. So here, and is the same meaning, because I'm modifying only one man. Understand it? So altruistic and generous. Where are you girls? What happened to you? I have 34 girls and no one replies me? No one at all? Where are you?
Yes, Miss.
Where
Yes,
are you
miss.
girls? 34 girls. I just hear myself.
Yes, here with you.
Again, altruistic and generous reformer. So I am modifying the same person, the reformer. So I am modifying him by being altruistic and generous. So
He's generous.
he's generous. Yes, he's generous. Okay, unselfishly concerned about others. Selfless.
He repealed many of Draco's harsh laws and replaced them with ones allowing for clemency.
He replaced the harsh laws. He replaced harsh laws and replaced them with clemency. He replaced the harsh and replaced them with clemency. He replaced the harsh with clemency.
With easy ones.
Easy, nice, and mercy. Harsh laws, mercy laws. Right?
Yes, miss.
He also gave citizens a greater voice by establishing a lawmaking assembly. But it was under the leadership of Pericles that ancient democracy peaked and Athens entered its golden age. Pericles believed in citizen participation in government, and he had the temerity to give all citizens the right to criticize their leaders and generals.
He had the temerity to give all citizens the right to criticize their leaders. He had the temerity to give the citizens their rights. So when he gave the citizens their rights, he have the temerity. What is temerity?
Courage.
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 Excellent. Yes. Dare, boldness.
At a time when there was a dearth of individual rights, the forerunner of the modern democratic state had arrived.
At a time when there was a dearth of individual rights. He was temerity. He had the temerity, he had the strength to give the citizens the right to oppose their leaders. At the time when there was a dearth of individual rights, there was a dearth of individual rights. There was a what?
Lack of.
A lack. Excellent.
And with it came the first politicians, for Athenians prized the skills of oratory and persuasion. While we must praise the Athenians for introducing democratic ideals to the world, we would be remiss not to recognize the discrepancies between their form of democracy and
While we must raise the Athenians for introducing democracies or democratic ideals to the world, we could be remiss not to recognize. We would be remiss. I would be remiss if I don't recognize this. So I would be what? You would be remiss if you don't thank this man. I would be what? Remiss is what?
Not careful.
Yes, negligent, careless, not careful, lacking energy, lacking force, lacking care. Not to recognize the discrepancies between their form of democracies and ours. Discrepancies between the form of democracies and ours. So what will be between their form of democracies and our form of democracies?
Difference.
Differences, yes. Differences. Contradictions. Okay? Discrepancies.
ours. Ours is a representative government, while theirs was a limited, direct form in which only Athenian men participated. Indeed, only men who owned land were entitled to citizenship then, and only they could get an education or participate in cultural festivities. Women shared none of those rights. Neither did slaves, though they made up 1/4 of the population. That said, I believe it would be facile and insincere of me to condemn outright the shortcomings of the world's first democracy.
I believe it would be facile and insincere of me to condemn outright the shortcomings of the world's first democracy. It will be facile. What is facile?
Insincere.
And insincere, yes, it is easy to be done. Insincere, I don't do it with sincerity.
Out of it developed the country that Abraham Lincoln was trying to unite and preserve on the day he dedicated a cemetery for the repose of the Civil War soldiers.
Abraham Lincoln was trying to unite and preserve on the day he dedicated a cemetery for the repose of the Civil War soldiers. Repose of the Civil War soldiers at Gettysburg. Repose is the state of being at rest. Rest soldiers now after the Civil War has finished.
Soldiers at Gettysburg. The gifts handed down to this country from ancient Greece and defended by our citizens and our leaders through the ages are something we should all cherish.
Democracy. Okay? Democracy, girls. Okay? Let me
Yes.
again. Where are what is the first word? Here is it. Let's hear the words again. The first word was unfeigned.
Unfeigned. Unfeigned. Unfeigned is an adjective meaning sincere or without pretense. You may feel an unfeigned twinge of regret at the passing of your childhood. Or, the citizens of a besieged town may greet their liberators with unfeigned jubilation. Now you say, unfeigned. And again. plod. Plod. Plod is a verb that means to walk or work slowly. As the English poet Thomas Gray once wrote, "The plowman homeward plods his weary way." Or, you may spend a great deal of time plodding through the want ads in search of a job. Now you say plod. Repeat the word. Embark. Embark. Embark is a verb meaning to go aboard a ship, to make a start, or to invest. The minute the rain let up, we embarked on the next leg of our journey. Or, your mom and dad may be embarking on a new business venture. Now it's your turn. Pronounce the word embark. Once again, indomitable. Indomitable. Indomitable is an adjective meaning unconquerable or refusing to yield. You may know someone whose pride is indomitable. Or, one of your relatives may possess an indomitable will. Now you try the word. Say indomitable. Once more. Assent. Assent. Assent functions as two parts of speech. It can be used as a verb, meaning to express agreement. Your parents may or may not assent to your wishes in a certain matter. Assent can also be used as a noun, meaning agreement. They may, however, indicate their assent by nodding their heads. Now you try to say assent. One more time. Infallible. Infallible. Infallible is an adjective meaning free from error or absolutely dependable. No one's memory is absolutely infallible. Similarly, no battery of medical tests is entirely infallible. Now it's your turn. Say infallible. And again. Diffident. Diffident. Diffident is a noun, meaning modest or lacking in self-confidence. A very shy person may greet a stranger with no more than a diffident smile. Or, it is amazing how a normally shy and diffident youngster can suddenly become the life of the party. Your turn. Say diffident. One more time. Altruistic. Altruistic. Altruistic is an adjective meaning unselfish or concerned with the welfare of others. A philanthropist is a person who devotes his or her life to altruistic projects. Or, we must learn to separate our purely egotistical instincts from our more altruistic impulses. Now, let's hear you say altruistic. Try the word again. Clemency. Clemency. Clemency is a noun, meaning humaneness or mildness. Putting a dying animal to sleep is usually regarded as an act of clemency. Or, you may be delighted by the unexpected clemency of the weather during your stay in Canada. Your turn. Say clemency. Once again. Temerity. Temerity. Temerity is a noun that means rashness or boldness. A person with the temerity to speak out against a repressive government is greatly to be admired. Or, the Carthaginian general Hannibal was noted for the temerity of his battle plans. Now it's your turn. Try to say temerity. One. Dearth. Dearth. Dearth is a noun that means an inadequate supply or lack of something. It also means a famine. There never seems to be any great dearth of candidates for public office. Or, as the Bible says, Then there came a dearth over all the land of Egypt. Now let's hear you say dearth. Try the word again. Remiss. Remiss. Remiss is an adjective meaning careless or neglectful in performance of one's duty. One should not be overly remiss in paying one's bills. By the same token, students shouldn't be remiss about handing in homework assignments. Now you say remiss. Try the word again. Discrepancy. Discrepancy. Discrepancy is a noun meaning a difference or lack of agreement. The discrepancy between a person's words and her or his actions may be painfully apparent. Or, statements by eyewitnesses to a crime may be riddled with discrepancies. Now, let's hear you say discrepancy. And again. Facile. Facile. Facile is an adjective meaning easily done or superficial and insincere. Over 60 novels flowed from the writer's facile. Or, the official explanation of a rather puzzling turn of events may strike you as too facile to be likely. Now say facile. Once again. Repose. Repose. Repose functions as two parts of speech. It can be used as a verb, meaning to lie, rest, or place. Our whole system of justice reposes on a single principle, the presumption of innocence. Repose can also be used as a noun, relaxation, or peace of mind. Many religions offer prayers to God for the repose of the dead. Now you say repose. Repeat the word.
Okay, girls, we'll stop here and come after the 5 minutes break, okay?
Okay,
Miss,